First-time homebuyers may be getting squeezed in this market, but if you are a move-up buyer or somebody looking into luxury real estate, the changes to the One Big Beautiful Bill might be music to your ears. And we're going to be breaking that down in today's video, how to make these tax changes work for you in a real estate investment. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lizy Hoeffer. I'm a residential loan officer at Cross Country Mortgage, and I like to teach practical money tips so that you can make a smart home purchase. I understand that this bill is full of a ton of controversial changes. I want to be cognizant of that. I don't want to come off as somebody who does not care that this is impacting a lot of people in a very negative way, but I also am not creating a political video. I do want to talk about how the tax changes positively impact real estate, especially if you're somebody who's financing over $500,000, what this actually looks like when it comes to dollars and cents. So one thing that most people don't really understand is how important real estate is to the overall US economy. Real estate makes up about 30% of it when you think about all of the different business verticals that are impacted by real estate. It isn't just real estate agents and mortgage banks. It's title companies, insurance companies, it's your Home Depots, it's your renovations, it's your furniture stores, it's your paint stores. There's like dozens upon dozens of different industries that are impacted by real estate. Because we've had such high interest rates, a lot of these industries are suffering. They are taking in less revenue because less and less people are buying homes. If we're not going to see a quick reprieve on interest rates, it's nice to have a reprieve on taxes. It naturally made sense that one of the first changes that they made permanent was the mortgage interest tax deduction, which most homeowners have really benefited from over the last several decades. And I don't think anyone is upset about this, but what basically changed is that it was set to expire this year. Loans up to $750,000, or, if you financed over $750,000, the first $750,000, you can write off the mortgage interest on that. And it's really important. So if we're going to break this down in numbers, let's say you're financing a $750,000 home, you put 10% down, so you're borrowing $675,000. Well, in your first 5 years, those years are very interest heavy because you haven't paid down enough principal. And depending on your loan terms, that's going to equate somewhere to $30,000 to $35,000. And when you break that down into a monthly figure, right, or an annual figure, let's say, it's about $9,600 to $11,200. And that's almost $1,000 a month savings in tax offset. So no, it doesn't lower your mortgage payment, but the money that you would have to pay to the IRS in money that you would owe them in terms of taxes, if you had a great financial year, you're paying $11,000 less. I mean, that to me is pretty significant, and it would offset a higher mortgage payment, in my opinion. I think is really good in terms of just allowing people to keep their deductions. And especially because home prices in general have really escalated over the last 5 years. Many consumers are definitely financing over $500,000. And I think this is a really great change. So this leads me to the next change, and it has to do with mortgage insurance. And this was a tax deduction that people used to be able to take advantage of that expired. And honestly, I was really sad when this went away, primarily because most Americans buy their homes with less than 20% down. So people are paying an amount per month for mortgage insurance that just goes to the mortgage insurance companies. For the last decade, we know that mortgage defaults have been historically low. So, this money is just kind of there to protect us against another great recession, which it should be. But ultimately, it's been a bummer. It's a bummer that more consumers haven't been able to take advantage of a tax offset. And just note that mortgage insurance is a percentage that's based on your credit and your financial situation. So depending on how high your credit is, how little you're putting down, that mortgage interest could be anywhere between $100 to a couple $100. For a lot of consumers that, finance somewhere in the $400,000 range, they're typically putting down 5%. This is about an $1,800 annual tax deduction. And let's say you're in a 24% tax bracket. This is going to be under $500 in a reduction in overall tax payment, but it still matters. For people that have less than ideal credit, this is close to $1,000 tax deduction. When you start adding this along with the mortgage insurance and the property tax deduction, they all add up to reduce your overall tax liability. Even though though it doesn't make the interest any lower, that ability to offset and improve your cash flow is important, and it makes investing in real estate that much better of a decision. So now we have to talk about the state and local income taxes, known as SALT. I think this is actually the biggest win for homeowners, but essentially they increased the cap from $10,000 to $40,000. This tax is like the property tax and state income taxes. I mean, this is a quadruple cap. While many of the homes here in Phoenix are pretty average price, there are a lot of areas where you could reach that SALT cap pretty quickly. And we're talking about Scottsdale, Arcadia, Chandler, Gilbert, Paradise Valley. And with our state income tax being, between 2.5% and 4.5%, I mean, this is kind of a big deal. I want to give you a real life example. Let's say you're buying a house that's $750,000. The estimated property taxes on that are going to be anywhere between $3,500 to $5,500, depending on the area. Your state income tax is going to be somewhere around $9,500. Your total SALT deduction is $15,000. Before the bill, it was $10,000. Now all $15,000 is deductible, and that net tax benefit to you is $5,000. Now, why this matters? So let's say you are a move-up buyer, you're buying in an area like Scottsdale, and you're moving from a $500,000 property to a $750,000 property. With today's current interest rates, and let's say you roll in your equity, that increase to your monthly mortgage payment is somewhere between $600 to $800. When you offset this with the SALT deduction, which is going to reduce your tax liability anywhere between $300 and $400 a month, you're offsetting almost 50%. It's almost half of that change to your mortgage payment. Okay, it's likely that interest rates will drop in the future, and I could take advantage of the market today where I can negotiate price and concessions and have a reduced out-of-pocket expense. These tax changes really make it strategic to get a really good deal. I think it's a really opportune time if you thought about upgrading your property to buy at a discount and really maximize that real estate. And this last tax change that I think has a big benefit to real estate has to do with the gift and estate tax exemption. This new tax change allows for parents and grandparents to gift their children and grandchildren up to $100,000, which would take someone from like a 3% down payment to a 20% down payment. They would eliminate a lot of mortgage interest, mortgage insurance. I always wished for wealthy parents that could give me a leg up in life. But as somebody who's built everything from the ground up, it's a goal of mine to be able to give to my children. It's just a really awesome change that prevents an additional tax liability to incur for the person gifting the money. There has been very little positive news when it comes to real estate. We've had high interest rates for forever. The rising cost of prices have been going up. I am happy that there is at least some reprieve when it comes to affordability, if not in actual mortgage payment reductions, in a tax offset. If you're somebody who's looking to be strategic, just know that your mortgage interest is now permanent in terms of a tax deduction. You can now write off mortgage insurance. Your SALT cap is now quadrupled, and the gift and estate tax exemption is larger than it ever has been. If you are looking to estate plan, gift to your children, if you're looking to upgrade your primary residence or buy luxury real estate or invest in real estate to a larger capacity, this is the market for you. These tax changes, along with the market conditions that give the buyer the most leverage, are the most ideal times to buy if you are investing in real estate. If you are interested in learning how this impacts you, how this mortgage offset will impact your cash flow, my team and I would love to help you with that. Don't be afraid to reach out. And if you found this video helpful, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe share it with a friend.